Oh boy, guys. First of all, I'd like to say my voice is done, so bear with me. I'm going to try to talk into the microphone. It's going to be a rough one. We're going to power through here. A lot to get to. Painful loss. This one really sucked. A big game the team needed. And we saw what happened. The New Jersey Devils fall by a score of 3-1 to our daddy, the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your extremely hoarse host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. So much to get into here, guys. Appreciate you all for coming out. Win or lose, we booze, guys. Win or lose, we booze. I need something a little. I'm going back to my man DJ, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm going to do a little Terramana. Cheers to all of you. This loss really sucked. There's a lot to get to. The boo birds, everything else. But cheers to you guys. Win or lose, we booze. And this one sucked. This was a big game we really needed. Oh, loser beverages. We are back to loser beverages after back-to-back games with victory drinks. We're back to loser beverages. Get to the game. First period at 51 seconds. Wow, guys. Luke Hughes, a lot to talk about with Luke, but Luke just puts it right in the net. Super unfortunate. Puts it right in the net. Ehlers gets credit with the goal. Canes up 1-0 early, and it was brutal. Super brutal break for Luke. Obviously not intentional. A bonehead play, and it happens. Canes up 1-0, and at that point, I'm not going to lie, I was devastated. Obviously, a huge game. First goal has been crucial for the Devils all year long, and we give it to the Canes. And they're up 1-0 early. A little bit later in the period, Dawson Mercer reemerges from the dead. Another guy that, started off hot, has been missing like many of the other guys. Mercer gets it in the slot, rips it on net, and finds the back of the net. Great to see Dawson get on the scoreboard. Dawson's 11th from Grits and Siegs ties it up at 1 at 7:34. And at that point, I had a little hope restored. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, that was the first goal against was a bad break. Mercer's alive. First period ends 1-1. And I thought there was a chance we claw back. Obviously not what happened. We get to the second, and another egregious Luke Hughes play. Nonchalant, and it's been one of my biggest complaints about Luke all season. And you guys know I love Luke. I've defended him, and I'll get to Luke in depth when I'm done with all the game stuff. But very nonchalant, especially in the D zone. And he just looks a little too carefree at times. Like, buddy, you got to ratchet up the intensity a little bit. Just freewheeling, just kind of careless. Gets way too close to the net. And Taylor Hall, former New Jersey Devil, Hart Trophy winner. You guys know how I feel about Taylor Hall. Comes in and makes a veteran play. Just strips the puck, pokes it away, gets it on net, and it literally finds the spot of the net to the left of Allen's outstretched pad and skate and just finds its way in there and squeaks in. Another absolutely unfortunate break for Luke Hughes and the New Jersey Devils team. Taylor Hall gets his 8th of the season. Another Luke Hughes boneheaded play, and the Canes are up 2-1. That is how the second period would end. Heading into the third, I was a little distraught, but they're still in it. They're only a goal down, third period, home ice. Obviously, a compromised Hurricanes team. Missing a couple big guns, third string goalie. Thought there was a chance we could at least get it to overtime. And in the third period, Jake Allen kind of makes a puck handling snafu behind the net. And who's there to make the play? None other than Taylor Hall, another former Devil coming back to scorch this team. Strips the puck, throws it into the front. Stankoven there, rips it into the back of the net. Ball game. 3-1 Canes. That is how it would end. The game's over. And before I get to the rest of the game stuff, I would like to take this moment to go on a mini rant, not a huge rant, but a mini rant for all of the people. Once again, Taylor Hall, guys, is in his advanced age of 34. Ooh, many of you chumps, many of you in this room and many of you who are not here. I personally, last March, when the rumors were floating around that Chicago was looking to move him, Ace, your boy Ace, was like, hey, Taylor Hall's available. I'm interested, guys, because Taylor Hall's a gamer and I don't think he's done yet. Again, did not say he was in his prime. And everyone that does not understand how this game works, Stanley Cup contending rosters are not made up entirely of players in their prime. And while last March, Taylor Hall was certainly not in his prime, I certainly wanted him. Some of you intelligent fans did, and saw that he still had plenty to give to a team hoping to make a run, despite nearly being dead at age, I guess at that time he was 33. And people told me, oh, you're crazy. He's 33. Call the nursing home. Call the morgue. He's dead. What do we need him for? He's washed. The same stuff that people are saying now about Stammer. And again, total side note, we have no cap space to even bring Kovacevic back. So we're not getting anybody. But it's just to prove the point that when I said I wanted Taylor Hall last year, I got flamed mercilessly. There were a few that sided with me, but by and large, the sentiment that kept getting parroted was, he's washed, he's old, this and that. And it's like, when will you people get it through your head? And I'm taking this moment to get on a little bit of a soapbox, because I'm tired of the guys that are 32 and older are dead and useless. Taylor Hall won this game for his club tonight. Let me repeat that. Taylor Hall, at 34 years of age, gamer, won this game with some help from Luke Hughes, obviously, and the Devils' inept power play, and I'll get into all that in a minute. Taylor Hall, while not in his prime at all, still a gamer, still can contribute at a high level, and came up big tonight, getting the game-winning goal and making the huge play, getting the assist on the third and insurance goal. And that's it. I'm done with that. But you people need to realize not everyone needs to be in their prime. It is ridiculous. Taylor Hall found a home in Carolina, and he's fit in there like a glove. And so not all these old guys are washed. End of that rant. We get to the game stats. Canes and Devils both with 29 shots on goal. Canes getting the better of the face-off department, 55.9% to the Devils' 44.1%. Devils PK showed up tonight. Canes go 0 for 3 on the power play. Unfortunately, the power play was powerless. Once again, we see the issues with the power play. Devils go 0 for 4. That is a huge contributing factor in the loss. I'm not going to put this loss solely on Luke Hughes, but if I'm, going to give like a pie chart of what we're assigning the loss to, Luke Hughes has to own a big part of it, and it is what it is. And I'll get, again, more to Luke later. But the power play, also a huge part. 0 for 4. I mean, unacceptable. Canes with 16 hits. Devils with 22 hits. Canes with 20 block shots to the Devils 9. I mean, you got to block more than that. But Canes, 19 giveaways. Devils with 12 giveaways. Canes with 6 takeaways. And the Devils with 3 takeaways. And my God, guys, I'm still kind of stewing over this. If there's anything even worth talking about in here, Cody Glass, 2 blocks and 2 hits. Nicohischier, 5 shots and 3 hits. Timomeier, 3 shots, 2 blocks, 2 hits. Grits with 3 shots and a block. He had that beautiful pass to, I think it was to Timo in the first period. Jackhughes, 5 shots. Dilly with 3 hits. Pesce with 2 blocks. Jake Allen, 26 saves on 29 shots. And just for fun, I already did this. Sorry, I messed up. Deserve to win meter, pretty close. Canes 54.4% to the Devils 45.7%. You see the shot clusters there. And the deserve to win meter correctly predicted the winner for tonight. The Devils with the loss. All right. So now the big kind of takeaway thing from this game, the Luke Hughes booing. So let me get into this before I get into the comments. And I see some of you throwing up supers and a lot of other comments, so I really appreciate it, guys. I'll be getting to those in a moment. But I have to talk about the elephant in the room. obviously the Luke Hughes situation, right? And I try to be as fair as possible. And I call it like I see it, and I will always do that. Whether it's popular or not, I don't care. You guys know I'm going to voice my opinion. So here's kind of my long-winded opinion on this particular issue. Okay. Fans booing Luke Hughes after he gave Carolina 2 goals. In my opinion, completely warranted. I have no issue with it. Now, if I'm being honest, if I was at this game, which I was not, would I personally have booed Luke Hughes? No, I personally would not have. As many of you know, I am a very pro player guy. I typically do not rag on players and talk incessant shit like many people do. That's not my thing. Maybe on the team as a whole I will, but the single out a guy, not my thing. I've never booed one of our own players in my entire life, I don't think. There may have been like one extenuating. I may have booed Vitek Vanacek once at a game I was at. It's possible. But while I would not have done it, I certainly cannot say that it was not, or it was out of bounds or anything. And shame on the people who were criticizing the fans who did it. Because here's the thing, guys. You have to look at the whole situation. Luke Hughes is a young player who held out of training camp for a $63 million contract, guys. He held out. And listen, I didn't kill him for that either. This is a business. I get all of it. And in the end, it was beyond Luke, honestly. He probably wanted to sign for less money much earlier and not miss camp. If I had to bet my life on it, I would bet that is what happened. But there are powers bigger than Luke. The Hughes Corporation, his power agent, they're setting a precedent for the future contracts to be signed. Players Association, there's a lot of business things behind the scenes. And so it was probably killing Luke to hold out, but the puppet masters made that happen. He was kind of an unfortunate casualty in the situation, and he held out. He got his $9 million times 7 years, $63 million. Welcome to pro sports. So when you have a guy that did hold out, got paid mad money, and gives the other team 2 goals, paying fans who are not millionaires, the average Joe who trekked out on a cold winter Sunday night and shelled out their hard-earned dollars. And hockey tickets are not cheap. Gasoline is not cheap. Tolls are not cheap. Parking is not cheap. Chicken tenders and ice cream and sodas for your children are not cheap. And when you have paying customers who, let's be honest, have been put through a very tumultuous season already to this point. We've lived through a decade-long rebuild. These were supposed to be the bright years. These were supposed to be the bright years we're living in, and it doesn't seem like it's happening. And so now you have a fan that's we're kind of beaten down right now to see a kid who held out for this money go out there and make those plays against the team who's owned us forever. And we would have been in the game. And quite frankly, the Devils had every opportunity to win this game tonight. Despite not playing a great game, this game was very winnable. And so when you go out there and give them 2 goals, your paying customers have a right to voice their displeasure. And that comes in the form of booing, unfortunately. Like I said, would I have done it? No. I certainly am not going to judge those that did. And it is certainly their right. That is a fact. This is pro sports. And so, sorry, I am not going to shed a tear for a kid making $9 million. And I've defended, and you guys know I love Luke. I've defended him forever against many of you. I believe in him. I think he is going to be a great defenseman. A lot of you do not. A lot of you think he's going to be a bust. I think that's crazy. But I've defended the kid, and I've even told people he may not be a $9 million plus defenseman for a couple years. This contract was signed with future value in mind. People don't want to hear that, and I get it. Sports fans are simple. They live in the very now, in the moment, and so it all makes sense. You have a frustrated fan base, desperate for something to cling on to. Finally, won 2 games in a row after a horrific month or 5 weeks or so. Back-to-back wins, playing our complete daddy in the Canes in a game where we have a chance to win, and Luke gives him 2 goals. You have to allow fans to boo, and I'm sorry. I wouldn't have done it, like I said. But I am not going to chastise and criticize those that did. And shame on the righteous people, and there's many of you on X and all these platforms, that are talking smack You're talking smack from your couch about the paying customers. You are not a paying customer. You don't have a say here. Sorry, you do not. And so I will not have a bleeding heart for multi-millionaire players getting booed. It's not my thing, but it's part of sports, guys. It is what it is. And my heart goes out to Luke. I love the kid. I think he's going to be great. But the reality is the reality. There seems to be no accountability from this franchise, starting in the front office. Everyone wanted Fitz gone. He's literally driven this team into a cliff. He's bulletproof. He's not going anywhere. So now everyone's kind of up in arms about that. No accountability from the top down. Luke Hughes has had plenty of bad games this season. No accountability there, right? What's the accountability is keep throwing him out there on power play one. Give him 25 minutes a night. And so people are now very tired and frustrated of seeing a team that is underachieving with zero accountability at any level. Fitzgerald, bulletproof, not accountable. A kid you gave $9 million a year, 2 times 7, who's struggled at times and struggled hard tonight. Go out there on power play 1 5 times. I mean, you have to understand this. People are humans. And when you pay your hard-earned money to go and watch that, people are going to boo. And it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not that guy, but I am certainly not going to say a word to the people that did, because that is completely within their right. Now, shockingly enough, Luke Hughes was made available after the game to the media. I have to give Luke all the credit in the world here. I have to believe that he demanded to face the media, because I am sure the powers that be at the Devils were ready to whisk him away in the corner and keep him out of, keep him out of the line of fire. And Luke probably said, I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it. And I give Luke all the credit in the world. He was visibly upset during the session. They were kind of needling him and pressing and kind of trying to get some sort of emotion or soundbite out of him. And at one point I thought he was going to cry, honestly. And I felt terrible watching it. I did. My heart goes out to the kid. Probably the worst game of his career, and probably to his, at this point in his young career, he's probably never felt worse during a game than he did tonight when all the booing was happening. Now, back to the booing. I do think it was excessive at some point. I do think, maybe the first few times he touched the puck would kind of be fair. But then once it went to the third period, I do think that's excessive in my opinion. But again, it is the paying customer's right. I'm not going to kill people over it. But in the, interest of fairness, I do think it was excessive at that point. But again, completely within their right. As a paying customer, you have a right to do that. Now, he faced the music, guys. Doesn't make it any better. Doesn't give the Devils any points in this game. But he faced the music. Everyone else they interviewed, they asked about it, obviously, because this was like the hot button topic of the night. So they asked Jake Allen about it. And all of his teammates were really good about it. They all had his back. They all kind of defended him, said they didn't think he deserved it, but no one really were like overly critical to the fans, because they already know the deal. You guys are millionaires playing a sport, and these are fans, some of them probably living paycheck to paycheck, and some of them may only get to a couple games or 1 game a year. Tickets are not cheap. This is the real. Tickets have become more and more expensive. And so, his teammates had his back. I like to see that, obviously. I really appreciated him going out there and facing the music. I certainly did not expect that. They tried to crack him, and they, like I said, they were taking their little, kind of needling questions and seeing what they could get out of him. He didn't give them much. He took full accountability, said he needs to be better, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And so with that, definitely surprised by Luke. Got to tip the cap to him. Probably his worst game and kind of feelings of his career at any level of hockey. Being booed in a home game, knowing he gave the other team 2 goals, and he faced the music. And so bravo to him. This is all part of the journey. As I've told many of you, you didn't want to hear. The kid is 22 years old, playing a very difficult position in the best league on planet Earth. And it may be a couple years, maybe even a few years before we see him reach his max potential. And that's okay. That is okay. I do think he is going to be a stud for this team, and I'm not worried about it. Hopefully this doesn't linger too long, and, he learns from it, and he's a little more cautious with the puck. But with all that being said, in terms of accountability, if we're being real, any other player would be scratched. I mean, or at least benched for a period. And someone did ask Keefe. I didn't particularly like this post-game presser from Keefe. Someone had asked if he considered benching Luke, and it was like an adamant no. And then he went on to be like, you can't overreact, this, that, and the other thing. But like in the end, other players do not have this leeway, and that is a fact. And so if you're a guy like Paul who's sat out the last 2 games now, maybe wasn't playing his best hockey when he got pulled out of the lineup, but he certainly never handed another team 2 goals in a game. And he's sitting in the suite watching the game as a healthy scratch. And so what kind of message does it send if this kid's above the law? Not only will he never get scratched, he doesn't even get benched for any period of time and then constantly gets thrown out there on the power play when the power play is struggling in that game when we desperately needed a goal. And so for me, I just try to be as fair as possible. And when you look at this situation, I don't know what kind of message that sends to the rest of the team, because if that's any other player, I don't see how, at a minimum, you're not benched or scratched. But to constantly get, power play one time and no repercussions, I think it is a poor message of zero accountability, in my opinion. And a lot of people will disagree with that too. There's obviously people on the other extreme that are like saying stupid stuff like send them to the AHL. Like, that's all ridiculous. I'm not saying anything like that. I definitely thought at a minimum he should have been benched. I would have thought that was something. But at this point, I do think maybe one game is not a crazy overreaction, but I don't think that will happen either. I just don't like the message for me personally. Again, I'm very old school. I grew up on the Lou Lamoriello school. And it's always the crest on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. And no one's above the crest on the front. And it doesn't seem like that's the case with this team. I'm not going to be pounding the table like, oh, he must get scratched. No, I don't feel that strongly about it, but it is kind of concerning, in my opinion, that it seems to be there's a little bit of a double standard, overall at different tiers of guys. And so I don't know. The season certainly seems like it does have the potential to become circus-like with all these subplots and the team struggling and all of these things. I don't like it. I don't have a good feeling about it. This was a huge game. As you all know, I personally hit the panic button like 5 or 6 weeks ago after that brutal loss in Philadelphia. And, if you think this team is a guarantee to make the playoffs, you're delusional. It's very much in jeopardy. And I would say as of right now, it's probable that we do not make the playoffs. And if that is not code red, level 10, catastrophic, apocalyptic world, doomsday, zombies taking over shit to you personally, then I don't know what to tell you, because this team missing the playoffs this year should be a death sentence for the entire front office and tons of other people in lower level positions, and the entire house should be burned to the ground, because this team was in a decade-long rebuild with great pieces to start, loads and loads of cap space, draft capital, and they've gone nowhere. They had that 22-23 season, franchise record 112 points, beat the Rangers in 7 beautiful games in that first round. And since then, it has been nothing but regression. And at some point, what are we talking about, right? I'm frustrated. Again, as a longtime fan who has seen what winning teams look like, has seen what winning culture looks like, how winning organizations operate, this just ain't it. And I'm going to continue to watch the games and hope for the best and cheer for the team. But my God, this has been a rough go of it. And I'm disgusted, guys. I really am. But it's dark times. And I'm going to get to the comments. Thank you all here. The 5-star. Something needs to change. I don't think Keefe is the problem. The roster construction is on the GM. Completely agree. I've said it for a long time. If Fitzgerald is allowed to scapegoat another coach and deflect the blame and whatever else you want to call it on a coach when the constant of all these years of underachieving is Tom Fitzgerald at the helm and this core group of players who have been just career underachievers. That is the reality. And so I don't think Keefe is the problem. I do fear that he may be scapegoated because it does seem like with each passing game, more and more people are gravitating towards the fire Keefe narrative because they're weak-minded. And I do believe that people just have a harder, an easier time accepting like, oh, this team doesn't suck. It's the coach's fault. Get rid of him and the team will be good, because that's an easier thing for people to comprehend than no. These players that you have fallen in love with over the past 8 to 10 years as a collective are never going to win shit. Unfortunate reality. They are never going to get it done. But people rather believe that the coach is the issue. These guys are fine. Bring in another coach and the future is bright, because that's what people keep clinging to. Let me put on my future is bright glasses. I don't want my retinas to burn. But I completely agree. The roster construction is on the GM, and underperforming players, it's on them. But thank you very much, the 5-star. Appreciate it. Alex, thank you for the super. Here's to putting that work in while you're sick. Get better soon, my dude. Dedicated. Yeah, the show must go on. Appreciate you all for coming out. Cheers to all of you. Cheers to you, especially for dealing with my horrific voice right now. But the show must go on, guys. If I had to do this from a hospital bed, I'd bring the equipment in. Wherever we are, we get the show on. But this one really stings. I really wish we were sipping victory drinks, but tonight it's loser beverages. But thanks a lot, Alex. Appreciate it. Vegas, thank you for the super sticker. I cannot see what this is because in my program, it just shows it's a super sticker and I can't see what it is. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? God, what a disappointing loss. I would say I feel bad for Luke after watching his post-game and looking like he was going to cry, but he single-handedly cost us the game. Sure, our power play sucks 0 for 5, but bench Luke. Obviously, new worst loss of the year. I mean, goes without saying, right? As the games go further on into the season and become more important, losses like that, this is easily the new worst loss of the season. And I feel bad for Luke too, but I can't feel too bad for him because he's a professional athlete and he held out for a $63 million contract. I see both sides of the fence. Like I said, I try to be fair and call it for what it is. Two things can be true at once. I do feel a little bit bad for him, but this is part of the business. When you are paid like an elite defenseman and you give up 2 goals to the other team in a huge division rivalry game, in a situation where we desperately could have used the 2 points, the boo birds are going to come out sometimes. Them's the breaks. And obviously the power play being ice cold did not help the cause. And so I'm not going to single-handedly blame Luke, but he obviously played a huge factor. The power play was 0 for 4. But I thought at a minimum he should have been benched. Just something to show a little bit of accountability. But, Keefe did not think that was the way to go. It is what it is. And we'll see how this team and how Luke specifically respond from here going forward. But thank you for the super. The 5-star, Nemitz will be our best defenseman shortly. He needs to get healthy. I completely agree. In the future, best two-way defenseman. He obviously has that clutch gene, scores big-time goals. I still think that brettpesce will be our best kind of defensive defenseman for the rest of his time here. But Nemo is certainly having a breakout year, is an absolute stud. One of the pieces to be excited about with the bright future, assuming the Devils don't do something stupid and trade him. And hopefully he's back soon. It should be between, a week and 3 weeks now, going off of Sheldon Keefe's statement about a week ago where he said he'll be back in 2 to 4 weeks. As you all know, the injury news is obviously few and far between with this New Jersey Devils club. They do keep everything tight to the vest, and so we don't really know what the situation is. But he should be back soon. He will be playing in the Olympics, and so hopefully he gets a bunch of games in with the Devils before then. But I totally agree. Nemo is going to be a huge piece of this team going forward into the future for sure. Zupamaki, thank you for the super. I was at the game and proudly booed Luke and Hamilton. Not going to another game anytime soon. Yeah, I've been there for kind of a while now. I just, I'm just fed up. When, there is no accountability, when I believe our collective intelligence has been insulted by allowing Fitzgerald to be employed by the organization. The only thing I could do is show my displeasure with my wallet, and I will not go to any games anytime soon. That's just me personally. Some people will also do that. Some will not. It's everyone's individual prerogative, but I certainly am not wealthy by any stretch. Games are expensive, and I certainly am not happy with the current state of this organization whatsoever. And so the only thing I could do is voice my displeasure, not buy tickets. And like I said before, Zupamaki, totally your prerogative to boo as a paying customer. And once again, shame on the people who were trying to shame the people that booed. Most of them probably on their couches, watching at home. I think that's totally lame. And how dare you try to gaslight people who booed, who paid their hard-earned money to go. Total clown stuff. But, how is it any different from the people that go to a restaurant and they have a shitty meal? They paid $200 for a dinner, $250 for a couple's night out. And they're like, my steak sucked. It was overcooked. The steamed broccoli had no flavor, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? People go home and they'll write a bad review. Well, guess what? There is no online reviews for hockey games. And so the review is this. Boo, boo. That's the review. Deal with it. It's part of business. It's part of pro sports. It happens. Like I said, I personally would not do it, but I will never, ever, ever in my life criticize those who paid hard-earned money, their hard-earned money to be at a game, ever criticize them for booing. And shame on those that do. But I totally feel your frustration, Zupa. I'm right there with you. But thanks to Super. Right and respect, thank you for the Super. Had a chance to go, but was smart enough to sell. I booed from my couch and would like to think Fitz heard it. I booed Luke, but more so the clown show this team has been. We will hear more boos, I fear. Yeah. I'm not going to games anytime soon. And so it's almost like a little bit of stress, or I don't know what you want to call it, stress, but something that's kind of just like relieving for me, because it's not even a thought anymore. Like a lot of times I would decide to go to games on the day of the game or maybe before, and I wasn't sure, and I just see how I felt during the day, but like, it doesn't even cross my mind now. I just know, okay, that, the boys play at 7:00 tonight, I'll be watching it at home, blah, blah, blah. But, like I said earlier, it's a culmination of this fan base's frustration for this whole season. And in the moment, the frustration of giving up 2 goals to the other team to put us in a hole. It is what it is. The team has not performed this season. There's no accountability, and the boo birds are going to come out from time to time. It is what it is. I really appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you. Also, this team has no balls. The New Jersey no balls. I mean, listen, they do situationally. I didn't get that, as crazy as it is, guys, and I might get flamed for this. My Balls of the Night award goes to Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes, Balls of the Night for facing the media, because lots of other players, and even probably veteran players, would have taken the easy way out and stayed hidden. There's no way they forced Luke to do that. He straight up said, I'm going out there. I'm going to face the music, and props to him. And so I forgot. Balls of the Night for me, Luke Hughes easily, because he went out there and faced the fire, and many people would not have. And as a 22-year-old kid, I give him all the respect in the world. Balls of the Night award, Luke Hughes easily. The 5-star, thank you for the Super. Not Devils related, but do you think Sweden, Finland, or the Czechs can beat the USA or Canada? Oh, we're talking Olympic hockey? Absolutely. I'm still picking the red, white, and blue to win the whole thing. But all of those teams can beat the USA or Canada. It's a short tournament, especially if you have a couple lines that get hot and find chemistry early. You get a goalie on a hot streak. Anything's possible. Anyone could win the damn tournament. Now, I would be shocked if a team that you did not write in that list there won. I think it's it's going to be one of those teams: Sweden, Finland, Czech, USA, or Canada. I think one of those teams will be the winner. But short tournament, anything could happen. I still think it's going to be USA. Man, that's maybe a little bit of bias, but I think by odds they're second favorite to Canada. Canada's loaded, guys. So is the USA, and all these are good. These are all good teams. But anything's possible. Anyone is, any one of those teams is capable of beating the USA or Canada. I'm not going to predict them to do it, but it is possible. All right, now we dive into the comments. Cheers to you guys. I need another bottle shot to numb the pain. Let me know what you guys are drinking tonight. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about the booing. There was a lot of people kind of talking smack on X about the people that booed. Cheers to all of you. I think it's excessive. I think there's people that just defend blindly no matter what. I'll never be one of those people. Loser shots. I hate loser shots. All right. Now we're diving in here. Very active chat. It seems like that seems to be the case on nights where we have difficult hands dealt to us. Paul Mystic, Luke is going to be a very good player. He seems to get beneficial treatment, which the fans rightfully hate, to offset the crazy expectations on him for being a Hughes brother. Yeah, and that's kind of part of it, right? I can't see how people could say that there's not some truth to that. And so, like I said, it's a kind of a double standard, and people are fed up, and I get it. People paid their money to go see that performance, no accountability, and so it's going to kind of rear its ugly head and come to a boiling point in the form of booze. It is what it is. M. Sharp said at least Luke shows up at the Pretzer. Where's Fitz owners? Fitz will be in witness protection until the trade deadline, when he likely adds a depth piece, which I will call a Sprong-esque type move that will not move the needle whatsoever. My unfortunate prediction, it will not move the needle whatsoever. And some people will be fine with it and many will not. I've kind of resigned to the fact that I believe that's the reality, and it is what it is. Like, it's going to be another squandered season, and it's super unfortunate. It is really, really unfortunate. The 5-star, thank you for the super. Luke is a stud for Face the Media. Yeah, and that's why he got Balls of the Night award. Many people would not face the music, even veteran players. For a 22-year-old kid who knows he had a bad game, he felt the wrath of the fans booing, knew he was going to get needled, knew he was going to get emotional talking about it, and he said, fuck it. And he went out there and faced it. And for that, I give him all the credit in the world. I certainly did not see that coming. I certainly did not see it coming, and I got to give him credit for it. Chris Slater says, Pesce makes $6 million, Luke makes $9 million. I'd be pissed if I was Pesce. Again, this is future value stuff. Luke, it was widely considered to be like a future franchise defenseman. And again, back to the future value thing, in a few years with the cap going up, could he give you like what would be considered an $11 or $12 million type defenseman level of play? And I think the answer is probably yes. And we're hoping that it does happen, but that doesn't make anything better in the moment, obviously. Army, Keefe isn't the problem, but he's sure AF isn't the solution. We can't alter the roster much. If getting a change to the coach would help, especially if it's DeBoer, who's smarter and tougher. I can't get on board with that. Allowing Fitzgerald to scapegoat another coach would be an atrocity like no other. It would be disgusting. Running with the Woodson. Oh, every player on this team is pissed Luke is making the most money right now. Maybe some, but I'm sure a lot are fine with it. They get the business of it. They understand how it all works, but I'm sure, a couple of them are probably slightly bothered by it. But I think in the end, most of the guys on this team do like Luke. They have his back, and they want to see him do well, and they obviously want to do well as a team. David, I think the whole MSG crew gets paid to talk about the team optimistically. So many things they say. I ask myself, are they watching the same game as I am? Yeah, no, that's obviously, listen, I don't want to use the word propaganda, but it's all part of the business of sports. And there's been a couple moments some of you may have seen recently where my man Dano was caught on a hot mic when he thought it was going to commercial, where you've heard kind of little blips of his true thoughts. I'm sure he's dying inside, as many other, former franchise greats are, witnessing what this once proud franchise has become. And old school fans like myself and many others feel the same way. We've seen what winning teams look like. We've seen how winning organizations move. We've seen winning culture. This is not it for so many reasons. So many reasons. Bonzo, Ace, you've got more guts than this whole team combined. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm not going to say they're entirely gutless, but on a lot of nights it seems that way. All I can say is that I hope it turns around somehow. But I'm as beaten as I have been in the past several years at this point. My morale and optimism has just been suppressed and beaten down, and every kind of positive vibe I had about this team through the month of October has been just sucked out of my soul slowly. And it's unfortunate. You guys know I love this team more than anything, but it's brutal. Running with the Woodson. Oh boy, you're a Keefe has to go guy too. Come on, man. Carson Cane's a Canes fan in here. Having Pesce and Slavin at the same time was a treat, I'd imagine. Having Rod Brindamore is a treat. All right, I'm going to try to catch up here. Robert, I agree with you. This team is just not cutting it. Luke should get benched one game, but at this point, I don't know. Yeah, just one game. Just one game to show there is some sort of accountability. Maybe let him get a little rest, get a reset. Watch up from the player suite with whoever else is up there and just kind of get a little mental reset, but I don't think it's going to happen. Ariel, I think we need to talk about other issues with this team besides Luke's bad game. Of course, where do you want to begin? The power play sucks. They can't score again. There's so many things. How many chances are we going to have when there's pucks just laying in front of a goalie or in the crease or on the goal line where we fail to get in there and jam it home? It is so frustrating to watch. They had that one that they're acting like may have been a goal when the net came off. Like that shit was never counting. There was a couple other situations similar where the puck's just sitting there. Like somebody needs to drive that net with all of your might, like your life depends on it, and jam that thing home. But it's tough, guys. Natasha said Nemo will want Luke money for sure and deservedly so. Yeah, and how are you going to tell him he's not worth it? David says, more I think about it, the more I agree on benching Luke just to set team discipline. There's got to be something. Again, when the general manager, Fitz, came out at the end of last season and said basically we may have fostered a country club atmosphere here. Nothing screams country club more than zero accountability for players not named Paul Cotter. And I'm not just being biased. You guys know I love Paulie. And, fine. If he's, you don't think he's bringing his A game, you want to give Lamico or somebody else a look in the bottom six. Like, I'm not going to freak out over that. But on the flip side, if a guy like Paulie's going to get yanked out and sit a couple of games, then you best believe when a kid like Luke has a game like tonight, I want to see him get treated with those same kind of parameters. Why is he bulletproof? I think we all know the answer. And I think that's kind of bullshit. And I don't think that is, again, part of a winning culture or organization to have different rules for different guys. I just don't like it. Motel says, great riff on Luke and the fans. Totally agree. Thank you. I try to be fair. I see both sides of it. Again, I would not have done it, but I certainly will not blame the people that did or call them out for it. As a customer, that is your right. Booing is your negative review. Like I said, people go to, a restaurant and they think it sucked. They'll go home and take 45 minutes to write a dissertation on why the restaurant sucked and the service was bad and this was cold and this didn't have flavor. And in the moment, passionate sports fans, something they paid a lot more money for than a dinner, most likely, and that they're more emotionally invested in than a restaurant, that is the voicing their displeasure, booing in the moment. Now, again, I do think it was excessive a few times, but totally within their right. Crazy Alex, I was looking at tickets. It's insane how cheap Some tickets are compared to other teams like $20. Yeah. But there's people that have season tickets that spend thousands and thousands a year. Some probably spend tens of thousands. And depending on the opponent, sometimes you can get cheap tickets. But in the end, if you're bringing a family, it's not an inexpensive night out by any stretch. Salvatore Nemitz should be where he's valued, and the organization only has themselves to blame. What do you mean Nemitz should be where he's valued? Well, you don't think they value him? I certainly think they do. Woodson, Luke is quoted saying he thinks he's played pretty good hockey this year. Yeah, I mean, I think he's had decent little stretches, but overall, I heard him say that. I think that is a little delusional. I would say it's been a tumultuous season thus far. And I do think, missing a bunch of camp may play a factor, but that's on you. Swamp Fox, Rudd was gaslighting peeps who booed. Who's Rudd? Mooseman says, fire Fitz, trade the Hughes brothers. That's the only path forward. Now, I do think people get extreme, right? Like the Hughes brothers are good players. And people have been calling to trade them. Like the organization's not doing it, guys. I can't give this any energy. I've talked about this millions of times. I do think they could be part of a winning team, but they are not going to do it alone. And you need a lot of other players around them, the right types of players, to have a winning team. They're not going to do it alone. So I don't know. I don't want them traded. Like I've said about everybody, nobody is untouchable in my opinion. If a potential trade pops up that could improve the team, I'm all for it. But I certainly do not think there's any chance the team is going to trade them. I just think it's ridiculous. Robert says fire Fitz ASAP. Also never happening. More gabagool ace. I don't know how many people are clutching their pearls at booing once or twice. It's the multiple periods and cheering when he gets hit. I didn't hear the cheering when he gets hit. But again, people are frustrated. This was a big game in a season that has been disappointing overall. And so it was all just mounting. It's all just mounting. And at some point, people erupt and they had enough. And a lot of these people are season ticket holders. They're dragging themselves to the arena, 30 to 41 times a season to watch what has been a pretty much annual disappointment and paying a lot of money for the pleasure. I can't blame anyone who boos. Like I said, it's not something I do, but I certainly will not criticize those that do it. They are certainly within their right. Trevor, what a huge win this would have been to keep the momentum going. Now I'm sure it goes the other way. Every opportunity to win a game against the Canes without Slavin and Jarvis. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're daddy, guys. It's super unfortunate. The Canes have owned our souls, and it does not seem like it is going to change anytime soon. It just doesn't. "13 child, I feel like every time we lose to Carolina, it is a huge ordeal and a wake-up call. Major soul-searching. Hope it's for the better. They can't own us forever." I would disagree. They've owned us since 2002. So you're talking about this is going on 24 years now. I mean, that's essentially forever in terms of a sports rivalry or whatever you want to call it. 24 years is insane. It's completely insane. B now says, Luke, it's okay they booed that sports. Good for him. Whatever, this team way worse than Luke. Yeah, he took it on the chin like a pro. John Fay said, you should leave your house sounding like that, period. Ace. Swamp Fox, appreciate Luke facing an interview, but the fans have every right to boo. Absolutely. It's part of the beast. Army, DeBoer would get these guys accountable and have them playing so much better and tougher. You guys got to wake TF up. Fitz and Keefe need to go. Well, Fitz 100% needs to go. It would take a lot for me to be on board with Keefe being part of the problem. I'm nowhere near that level whatsoever. David chimes, and nobody can tell me we would have lost that game with Quinn. No way we go over 4 in the power play. Canes are not of their A game, and we only scored once. The Fitz fumble of the century. Quinn is going to stay in Minnesota, folks. 100% staying in Minnesota. It is what it is. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It just gets me more infuriating. It's just another dark bullet point on this tragic season. Devils Rocky, feel better, brother. Goodness, crazy you're doing the show in the state you're in. The show must go on. Eric says, give me $9 million and I will talk to the media every night the Devils lose. Evan, damn Ace, so sorry. Can we get some likes for a man that doesn't quit on the New Jersey Devils? Some goofballs on this team could learn from this guy's gumption. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks a lot, Evan. Appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up for your boy with no voice. Out here just licking our wounds. I mean, I need another shot. Cheers, folks. I guess I'll probably finish this here. I'm just so down. I really believed, guys, and shame on me. I really believed this year was going to be different. I really did. Shame on me for it. Honestly, I should have known better. But that's what love will do to you. That's what love will do to you. Yeah, so done with the Devils until next time, right? Dubs is like, and they had no Jarvis and Slavin, they would have smoked the Devils. They're daddy, guys. They are daddy. David, side note, Grits played another incredible game. Needs to be full-time power play 1 in top 6. I'm calling him going on a tear and finishing with a 55-point season. You heard it here first. I mean, hold on. Let me just check something. I think you're crazy, but let me just. Oh, yeah. Come on, David. You're insane, man. He would need almost a point a game. That's not happening. I love your enthusiasm, David, but that is just not happening. That'd be the greatest prediction of all time. If he hits 55 points, I don't even know. It'd be the greatest prediction of all time. I hope you're right. I cannot see it. That'd be phenomenal. Danny says, I'm drinking my own tears at the moment. The 5-star, we would have to give up Nemo, Mercer, and maybe even Casey for Quinn plus a first. Yeah, and that's a deal you make. It stings, but that's a deal you make. Quinn is a game breaker, a game changer, the second best defenseman in the league, a top 10 player in the league, and while that would have stung, you make that trade. The trade didn't happen because we did not have cap space. That's literally what happened. I believe the reported deal was Nemo, Mercer, Salayev, and a first. And you have to make that deal. As much as it stings, that's the deal you make. But we didn't have cap space. It all fell apart. And Quinn Hughes will never be a Devil. What are you going to do? Taylor says, Luke deserved the booze. He owned the booze, and I have mad respect for him. He's able to face the music, but our GM is still in witness protection. Oh, 100%. Luke showed way more balls than Fitz will ever have. I mean, for a 22-year-old kid who knew the firing squad was waiting, licking their chops for him to pop out. And he did it. He knew what he was in for, and he was like, screw it, I'm going in. I am going in. Way more respect for a guy like that than Fitz any day. The guy's hiding. Yeah, Fitz is in Witsec. Lapine, Ace, I'm sorry. I know that Luke cost us the game tonight, but even when he plays well, people in this chat are brutal. Oh, that's part of the game too. You are a great podcaster. I can't watch the post games anymore. Be well. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I mean, you could just watch it and not read the chat. What the hell, bro? You're leaving me because the people are nuts? Well, I guess, yeah, when I pull the chat up. I watch it till the chat part. I don't know. Respect to Luke for owning it. Oh, a lot of people are not cut out for real hockey market media like Toronto. I mean, Toronto is just a different level of media frenzy. And I think that's one of the things that guys probably like in New Jersey and have historically, that it is way more kind of laid back and relaxed. Like, there really is no real media to speak of. I mean, there's a few reporters and, that's really it. So, it is what it is. Mace, so many problems with this team and fan base right now. Booing the crap out of a 22-year-old is the last thing in my mind. At least boo Fitz or someone in charge. Well, I mean, I don't know. How exactly would they boo Fitz? Nolan, Ace, you still sound like poop. You got the vid. Poor Luke Hughes. Couple blunders cost us that game. Anyone's feel better. Drink some tea with honey tonight instead of liquor. I'll stick with the liquor, but appreciate the tip. Backs and Racks, Ace, you're definitely loyal and knowledgeable about the Devils, but eye test shows Luke has all the symptoms of a bust. Come on, man. A bust? Come on. A bust? He's going to be a bust? I think that's just so overreactionary. It's crazy. A bust? Well, I would say at worst case, maybe he doesn't develop into the guy that we were all hoping, but a bust? Absolutely not. There's 0% chance he's a bust. Suk says the eye test also says they're not a playoff team. That I agree with. True Patriot, what's going on? Ace expected this result. Playing at home after a win in a back-to-back easy money lately has been opposing team to score first, and Devils hang the L in the end. Unfortunately, that is true. So true. David chimes, Luke Hughes is still my favorite Devil. We screamed fire Lindy before he got us on a heater. Maybe booing Luke will spark him. I believe in him, not just long-term, but this season. No, I do too. And I've said there's going to be growing pains. People just thought, because he signed this contract, there was going to be some magical effect because now we paid him $9 million. He's just going to elevate his game to seasoned veteran with no hiccups. That's just not reality. It's just not reality. And you're going to see some of these types of games. Hopefully not another game ever where he puts 2 in the net. But games where he struggles a little bit. It's all part of it. And he said, thoughts myself, they definitely don't think what they say live. Yeah, no, they keep it a little, they got to be positive. Salvatore says winning culture has accountability. 1,000%. There is no team that truly wants to win and operates like a winner that does not hold people accountable. Holding people accountable is part of a winning culture, hands down. David, I missed the Dano hot mic. What did he say? I forget. It was something about a Dougie play. You could look it up on X. I don't have it handy, but it was on X. I'm looking for something here. Yeah, it was. He thought he thought they were off air. And he was talking about like a bad Dougie play. But if you're not following your boy on X, follow me at runninwithNJD. As much as I despise this platform, it's one of the necessary evils of the world, the media world we live in today. And so follow your boy. Running with NJD. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm just so bummed. This was a big game. I feel bad for Heischer a little. Way to celebrate his B-Day with a loss. Brutal birthday gift. Yeah, Will Phoenix says I was pretty stupid at 22 years old, but I had lots of cousins to call me out. You got to learn how to sack up real quick in the real world. Devils organization is a country club. It might be. And Fitz told us that last year. Robert says, bench Luke, play Covey. Well, first, we need to find some cap space to bring Kovacevic back. Celluloid therapy, what's going on? Toward the end of the game, Jack was standing at the bench looking completely defeated. In my opinion, there's no fixing this team this season. Keefe was handed a bag of roster, rotten culture. I can't blame Keefe. I can't. The front office did not help him last year whatsoever. Did not help him this year at all so far. And he's taken over what could be another kind of broken group after leaving one in Toronto. He may have found himself in the very same situation here in New Jersey. Eric says, how can you ask a team to go to battle together when they clearly know there's a double standard? Maybe we're just looking too much into this, but I can't believe that there's at least not some guys who think that there is a double standard. I mean, how could you not? How could you not? The 5-star, the Lou era seemed like a product of the 90s and early 2000s. The fact that we swept the Wings in 95 is absurd. Completely absurd. What a great Devils team that was. All team for sure. And they took out a juggernaut. Nobody on the planet thought the Devils had a chance in that series. Running with the Woodson, if Keefe can't hold the softest players in the league accountable, then he is rightfully so the softest coach in the league. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but do you think there's any chance that this is beyond his control? I think maybe it is. Maybe he's not even allowed to do certain things. I don't know. Titus Dream says, I said 2 years ago, Nemitz was going to be the better of the two and got flamed for it. Nemo has hockey sense and the ability to make plays under duress. Luke does not. If you predicted that, there's a chance you're going to be correct. Still very early in both of their careers, so it's going to take some time to know. But there's definitely a chance that pans out that way. Eric says, we aren't big enough in front of the net to bank those types of greasy goals. I mean, you got to get there, though. Like, the pucks are just sitting there. It kills me. George says, teams benefit from special player treatment, and nor will Luke. Players cannot complain. Fans must demand excellence. I kind of like that. I don't like if I feel that there's guys that are kind of above the law, and it certainly feels that way. I don't really like it. M. Sharp, who was coaching the power play. It's Jeremy Colleton. I know a lot of people have been calling for his head too. I mean, I get it. David, other optimistic side note. Our PK looked very good this game. It has some momentum. Might be off the schneid. The PK was worse than NHL December. Yeah, well, without brettpesce for a lot of that, they were terrible. Pesce makes a world of a difference. Alex Adano said, what a terrible turnover. I forgot. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. It was a couple days ago. Oh, I lost my spot. Oh my God. True Patriot, if they can pull Paulie's card, then pull the kids. Imagine how it'd be if Quinn was here. The family would run the team. Sorry, don't need to see that. I mean, is it going to be any different than it is now, though? I don't think it would be. So I understand people have been kind of saying that sort of thing, but like at this point, like what is the difference? We would have one of the best players in the league. I would have taken the chance every single time. Salvatore, Ace, Nemo, and others have been benched while Luke is untouchable regardless of mistakes. What do you think younger fringe guys think about the clear double standard? I just talked about this at length before. Some guys probably don't give a shit at all. And there's definitely guys that are looking like, what the hell is this? 100%. And that's why I said, I think there needs to be a standard of accountability across the board, period. I think anything short of that is loser mentality stuff and just not winning culture. And it sends the wrong message. Certainly sends the wrong message. Titus Dream, it's been 2 years of mediocrity. After a decade-long rebuild, fans stomached Joe Blandisi in the top six with Nick effing Lappin. We watched them blow Corey Schneider's hips out. They deserve to be booed. I totally get the frustration. Again, these were supposed to be the bright years. The bright future was supposed to be these years after suffering through those dark seasons that you referenced. These were supposed to be the bright years, and we've not moved forward an inch. We've moved backwards. You're talking about if the Devils fail to make the playoffs this season, if they miss the playoffs, which unfortunately, if I had to bet, I would say that they are, right? That's what it seems like. since setting a franchise record in 22-23 and winning a playoff round. This season is now 3 seasons after that. We would have missed the playoffs 2 of the following 3 seasons and won a single playoff game in one season, which would be last year. So you're talking about just absolute regression and a complete failure of an administration. There is no other way to sugarcoat it. There is no other way to spin it. This is not being overreactionary. This is pure data and facts. If they miss the playoffs this year, you're talking about a team that, after setting a franchise record and winning a playoff round, would have a single playoff win to show for it and missing the playoffs 2 out of the 3 seasons. If that doesn't scream fire everybody and burn it to the ground, I don't know what does. I really don't. True Patriot said, I've never buy season tickets to this product. I made that mistake one time. I gave up mine years and years ago. Years and years ago. Oh, wow. I'm super far behind. Alex, thank you for the super. Such an empty feeling with this team, dude. I know you feel it. This was supposed to be the years, and now what? Missing the playoffs will be worse than 23-24 because the Quinn miss added to the insult. No, listen, I completely agree. I screamed from the mountaintops, and people told me I was nuts. I have proof of all of this shit. Literally, almost every single thing I ever said came true. And I'm not trying to be that guy and beat my chest, but it was just so obvious to anyone paying attention. After that 22-23 season, I literally was like, the time to win is now, right now. We have players near their primes, approaching their primes. We had just set the franchise record with 112 points. We beat the Rangers. Then we got crushed by Carolina, Daddy, in the second round. But it's like, okay, that all signifies the window's now open. You now try to get win now pieces and make a push and win now. And instead, the idiot running the team and many of our dumbass fans were like, our team is so young, their time will come, and sat there and were just, stroking it to the bright future. Oh, down the line, they're going to be good. It's not their time yet, but the window will eventually open. Bullshit. That was the time, and we watched it all go right by while other teams exposed the LTIR loophole, traded first-round picks for win-now pieces, and Fitzgerald ran this thing into the side of the mountain. That is the reality. And it stings and it sucks, but it's all fact. There's no way to dispute any of it. Regression. Blow it all up and burn it to the ground because we are cooked. Completely cooked. Quebec Sans Frontiers. People seem to forget only 1 goal scored in the entire game despite 4 consecutive power plays. Luke is not solely responsible for the loss tonight. Sad because the Canes were not as good as usual tonight. No, 100%. I said I still have to give him the main contributing factor in the loss, but it was not solely on him. Absolutely not. The powerless power play is also to blame big time as well. But you also have to consider, momentum swings and morale and all of that. And, that second goal just sucked the life out of the crowd and the team, seemingly. Jeremy Proper, we've been met by how many teams lately that had between 15 and 40 million on the shelf and could barely win one? By the team who blew a 4-1 lead today, we are bad. Face facts. Oh, I've faced the facts. I have faced the facts. More gabagool. Frustration is definitely mounting. Maybe this is a point that the team voiced frustration with the front office to make a move. It's not happening, guys. It's definitely not happening. I expect literally nothing. It's unfortunate, but we're just gonna slowly drown like every other time. I would 100% rather have Ron Francis over Fitz. Easily. M. Sharp said if Fitz goes, everyone he hired goes. Yeah, clean house. Clean house. David says, I wonder if Jack's 99-point season a couple years ago is the only time he'll reach that. I realize he got injured this year, but halfway through, not even 30 points, maybe he already peaked. I certainly hope not. I think if he ever could stay healthy for a year, he should be a 100-point guy, but he's obviously still compromised. He's wearing, a protective glove of some sort under his hockey glove. And when he's not on the ice, he's wearing like a splint cast mitt kind of thing. So, he's not even 100% right now. I mean, he's out there, giving it his all. If he can stay healthy for a full year, and maybe that never happens. If he does, I think he's a 100-plus point player. Jeremy Proper, 219 peeps, only 73. Like, man, come on, smash the like. Yeah, definitely not 3 packs, but definitely fighting off something. Samuel says, was so much a doubter when the season started. Said I would wait till September was over to get excited, so I got excited and found out what stupidity is. You're not the only one. You are not the only one. Eric says 3 Hughes brothers on our team would have been the nail in the coffin. Quinn is amazing, but it would have been shattering for the other players, I think. I completely disagree. I think anytime you could add a talent like that to the team, I'm sure the other players would have loved it, or at least most of them, I think, would have loved to see the Devils add one of the best overall players in the league. I mean, it would have made the team much better. And most of these guys' primary focus and priority in the sport is to win. And especially the veterans who are towards the end of their careers that want to win a cup desperately. A guy like Quinn Hughes improves your team immediately. Yes, he's still wearing a hand brace off the ice, and he's wearing a protective, like, batting glove looking thing under his glove. M. Sharp says fire fits. Ben James said I'd meet the press in a zebra skin jockstrap for $64 million. The 5-star Fitz has to be the least transparent GM in the league. There's probably a couple others in his tier, but he's definitely amongst the most protective and hidden. Fitz never facing the media against the summer. No, he'll face him at the deadline to tell us how his spare parts acquisitions improved the team tremendously. The 5-star Rita Kovalchuk and Sandpaper. I'm all for blowing this project up. The days of Eliash, Stevens, Needs, Lemieux, Arnott, and bottom liners are gone. Man, where are we getting to Kovalchuk? The 5-star. Kovalchuk was must-see TV. One of, or if not the most exciting players in Devils history. I mean, guy was just absolutely electric. Loved him. Obviously sucked how it ended. But, these guys are all legends for a reason. Guys like them are so few and far between these days that, you can't just go find guys like them. Any of them, really. But specifically, why I really was high on Marchand. I knew we had no chance of getting him, but I wanted to dream about it. But they definitely need a big change. But that's not going to happen with, the current administration here. And so our only hope is that if there's change there, then maybe we'll see change elsewhere, in my opinion. M. Can't stand you. Luke may not be a bust, but if he doesn't fix his issues, his ceilings will be second line pairing. I mean, I could see that as a worst case scenario. I mean, that's far from a bust. Obviously, it's disappointing, but that's very different than a bust. Rider on the Storm Ace, I think we need Lou back or even Marty as GM. Stevens in the locker room in some capacity as a coach or something. I would love to see winners from the organization's proud days brought back. I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see it. I just don't think it'll happen. And my number one pick, I've talked about it before, if Fitz was ever canned, I would like to see them give Marty a chance if he wanted it. This guy over here just got home from the game. Fans deserve a lot of shit right now. There's no energy in the building, and Luke didn't deserve to get the boys rained down on him. Oh, I disagree with you. I had a whole, if you want to rewind way back in this live, I gave a whole kind of speech on my thoughts about it. It's just an unfortunate reality of sports. Robbie's bench toss. This team is stuck, and Tom isn't the one to fix it. Completely agree. This sucks to be in the spot. I just hope something happens that forces change. I don't think it's happening anytime during the season. I think at best case, maybe in the off season, but even then, I don't know. I think he's pretty well entrenched here. Glenn says if Nico leaves, I'm right behind him. This is BS. Oh, we're going to find out. We're going to find out for sure. I told you guys months ago, I feared that this could be happening. Faces, Reddit sucks in general. Never been on it, but I've seen what goes on with Reddit, and it's just weirdos left and right. I've never really been on it. A couple times when I Googled random things, not hockey related, it pulled up a post on there, I guess. But is there like an active hockey thing? True Pager said Ace Keefe said if he rides him about those plays, he runs the chance of losing him. I heard that. I think it's kind of crazy. Wouldn't be my preferred way to handle it, but he's the coach. It seems a little nuts. Little Nicky, I got this hat in the Devils team store a couple weeks back. 5-star, thank you, sir. If Fitz gets fired, it needs to be Shanny over Marty. Shanny was my number 2. I would love Shanny as well. Anyone who's been involved in the game at a high level, has some front office experience, has experience being around and on winning teams and know what the construction of those teams look like is the guy I want at the helm. Period. The last game I went to was a few weeks ago, and Mrs. Fields had not won yet. Oh, there it is. 0 wins. Carvel, 11. Annie Ann's 10. Mrs. Fields, 0. Ace, like I said before, no one making as much as Luke is going to be benched. To me, that should be irrelevant. It should be irrelevant. How much money you make should have nothing to do with accountability. And I think that's a real problem. Mark says Luke needs to sit or spend a week in Utica and make this 2 weeks. That will never happen. Never, ever happen. I cannot implicate Marty in the crimes of this administration. Marty gets a pass to me, and he's the only one. Fitz is not a risk taker. Certainly seems that way. Likes to play it nice and safe. I could totally kind of see that. Ritter Engine, it's all BS, Ace, and I've just about had it. With investing so much time, energy, and nerves with this team, it's broken record talk with them and their excuses. I get it, man. I get it. Feel my pain. I come on here and do, however long I sit here and talk to you guys. Most of the time this year, it's been just, complaining about all kinds of shit. It's not fun. Being a fan of this team has not been fun for a long time. Overall, there's been little moments, brief moments where it's been fun, but overall, it has not been fun. Czechia just beat Canada in the World Juniors. Nice. Alex says Mercer is definitely being dangled in trades, and I don't know how to feel about it. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know. It's all just crazy. How the hell is where's the $4 million coming from to bring Kovacevic back? Like that is the real question at the moment. People are like, talking about trades and stuff. It's like trades. There's definitely not going to be a trade. Where are they finding money to bring back a guy we already have? But yeah, to Brandon's point, Mercer has been very hot and cold. Disappeared for a very long time. After a great start to the season, has just disappeared until today. Jack has a hand like Luke Skywalker. True Patriot. Fitz will tell us how it takes two teams to tango and he can't force a team. Well, that first of all, for him to tell you that would require him facing the media. And we have not seen that as of yet. Samuels is going to take years to fix his team. No money means no advances. Well, if a competent GM came in, they could make some big-time moves that could free up some money. Without any big-time moves, no, there'd be minimal change. Richard Ace will be okay with Marty than Shani, but Brian Burke, heavier, edgier, more violent physical play wouldn't be bad either. But Burke, that was my original list. The original list I gave weeks ago was Marty, Shani, Burke. Would be happy with any of them. I'll drink some NyQuil after this for the loser drinks. Alex's favorite hockey gear to wear. Give me Bauer or CCM. Very nice. Remember when is the lowest form of conversation. True Patriot, I'm hoping USA Olympic hockey brings me joy because this S show certainly ain't doing it. That's basically what I'm counting on to scratch my itch for a winning hockey team. And obviously, I'd be thrilled if USA won the gold. It would be amazing. It's nowhere near the same joy I would get as the Devils winning the cup, but it's the next closest thing I could get in hockey at all. The dessert race is definitely just what they determine by some, computer setting. Snow Devil, how can you expect Keefe to bench Luke when he gives him so many minutes? I'm not expecting it. I think it would be, I said I don't think it's going to happen. I just think that sends the wrong message. But, it is what it is. The 5-star, Bill Guerin was able to call every U.S. player. Fitz can't be on camera. Yeah, obviously the Billy G phone calls to the USA guys was a pretty cool thing if you haven't seen it. USA Hockey posted that. It was a few days ago now, where they showed Billy calling all the guys to tell them, that they made the Olympic team. Very cool stuff. Always love the behind-the-scenes stuff like that. And, yeah, Billy Guerin is a winner, guys, at every level. And he's going to show everybody once again how winners move when he locks up Quinn Hughes for some duration of time. Finding my spot here. Yeah, I think so. I can never get on board with tanking. You cannot start a rebuild again. I mean, if you do that, then it's a complete fail. It's a complete fail. If you don't try to win to bolster this group, because we still have pieces. I'm not saying to keep everybody, but shuffle some things around and try to win now. If you don't do that, then this team won't be in a position to truly compete again for years and years. It'd be so bad. What a dark day it would be. Can we put Dougie on LTIR? Would be nice. He would have to go along with it. And I don't think he will. Cisco Kid Ace, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the hard work and bringing us Devils recaps and news. Thanks for watching, man. Try my best. You guys would rather squeak into the playoffs, get slapped around, and rinse, wash, repeat. We call that being stuck in no man's land. Yes, because if you get in the playoffs, you at least have a fighting chance, and at least you have hope. Anything can happen. Get into the tournament, hope you go on a run, hope your goalie gets hot. Just hope for the best. Always better than watching from the sidelines. Brandon says, I would say it's possible to get a worse GM than Fitz. Absolutely not. There's no way. Brandon, does Fitz have a contract with the team, or is he just here till they fire him? If ownership doesn't have the balls to fire, is there a possibility for Fitz's contract to expire if that's a thing? I think it is. I'm not sure when his contract is up. But I don't think that any of this is going to matter. I think he's here for a while. My buddy Goody Yo Ace, what is the connection between Jason Robertson and the Devils? Absolutely nothing. There's no connection whatsoever. Ryder on the Storm says Fitz needs to call Lou and ask for advice. I'm sure that would never happen. Snow Devil really wanted Caulfield on the team. Guerin did us dirty once again. A lot of people have been crying about their, whatever players they liked that got snubbed. I'm gonna trust the Team USA brain trust, and we'll see where that puts them. Hopefully they have what's necessary to take out the rest of the nations in the tournament and bring back a gold. It would be so sick. And I'll be there making some feature films with a lot of food and a lot of hockey stuff. M. Cansania Ace, I teach 13-year-olds. If teaching and COVID taught me one thing, it's wash your hands constantly. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. I wash my hands a lot. I use sanitizer. Eric Jr. says, booze on Luke or warranted. Stop babying these players and let them know that we are sick of these embarrassing performances. Yeah, I think, I mentioned it earlier. It's just kind of the culmination of a lot of frustration about a lot of things for this season. It was supposed to be a different year, and it's not. That's pretty funny. Fitz needs to be fired via singing telegram. That would be pretty humorous. I would enjoy that for sure. But I think he's here for a while, guys. Do you mean pump his tires? Like, why do people defend Fitz? I don't know. Most people are not. Brandon, why do we have to pick a team to have the worst GM in its history? It's unfortunate. It's the luck of the draw. We got unlucky here. Wait, I thought ownership extended Fitz for like 8 years after that magical season. They did give him an extension. I don't remember if they even said what it was. But Army says, worse GM than Fitz. This guy couldn't even figure out how to activate a guy he re-signed because there's no cap. How is this clown star all a GM? Because the team's profitable. It's unfortunate. He's here for a while, guys. I've given up on him leaving. The only thing to hope for now is that somehow the team, as constructed, does well and wins. That's it. Snow Devil says, hey, it's a reminder that Fitz is part of the Team USA brain trust. Yeah, I think Billy G, though, is, he's the head guy. I have confidence in him. Charlie says, was at the game watching grown men boo a 22-year-old repeatedly was an accurate depiction of this fan base. Don't be with the kid at his highs if you can't support him at his lows. I think that's simplifying it, Charlie. I gave a kind of long-winded thought on this whole thing. It's much earlier in the live if you want to go back and watch it. But in the end, I would not have booed Luke, but I certainly think it's within people's rights that spend their hard-earned money to go watch a game. I think they are perfectly, within their rights to boo. That is voicing your displeasure with a product or service you have paid for that you feel was not up to par. It's part of the business. See, I cough and sneeze on Dougie, so you put him on IR. The man from Jers, maybe I have my future's bright glasses on, but this is not a cup-winning team. Even with a few additions, because our main guys are Sharman soft. It's a hill I'll die on this point. Well, we'll never know. Because I don't think we're ever going to see the proper pieces brought in to surround these guys. I don't think that these guys on their own are ever winning. I think that's very clear. Do I think with a couple of the right pieces brought in, could it be? Maybe, but we don't have the cap for it. We're running out of time. And so we'll never find out because the right pieces were never brought in, period. Toffoli was an interesting project. That didn't work out. He was shipped out. Another top six winger should have been brought in immediately. And we did not do it. Do I speak with the front office? Is that a real question? Do I speak with the front office? Yeah, right. I got kicked out of my brief media career, man. Speak with the front office. Yeah, right. I wish. I'm definitely not related to Fitz. The man from Jersey, unless we can trade Jack and Nico for players of equal ability with balls, we should just move on, stockpile assets, and try to do like OKC Thunder of the NBA juggernaut for years to come. It's not as easy to do that in hockey. Think about, you're talking about trading number one overall picks, right? And you're also talking about a team that has shown they suck at drafting. So what would even loading up on assets even mean? It's just more draft picks for them to miss with. Like, I would never want to see this approach taken by the Devils, because it would make them even worse than they are right now. Chad, why don't you think Keefe adjusts more during the games? Grits and glass were flying tonight, but I think he gets stuck trying the same units over and over. I think he can be better at riding the hot hand. I think, I don't know. Some of these things are like somewhat valid complaints, in my opinion, but like, I'm not going to kill a guy for it. I do think it did seem like they really wanted Luke to get a goal or something to kind of pick him up out of the hole he was feeling, feeling the booze for the first time, knowing he gave them 2 goals. Like, I think they desperately wanted him to produce something on the power play to feel good about and get a boost and maybe, turn the game around. It did not work. But I certainly was tired of seeing him out there on power play 1 time after time when he was having a rough night and the power play was. I wanted to see anything different. Brandon still baffles me to this day that we let Toffoli walk instead of Palat. Yeah, I mean, listen, I was adamant. I did not want to pay the Toffoli the $6 million for whatever he was looking for, but I was very vocal that, while I didn't want to give him the money, I wanted that $6 million, and I love Toffoli. I wanted that $6 million to go to another top 6 winger, and we just pretended like it didn't happen. Army, what do you think about McLean getting into the Ring of Honor before Lou? I think there was no one ever more deserving to be in the Ring of Honor than Lou. I would have to believe that this is something with him scheduling or whatever. Maybe he did not feel the timing was appropriate. They probably approached him. I don't know all the details, but I'd have to imagine, the holdup has been entirely on Lou, I would imagine. And I'm sure at some point in the very near future, he will be put in. John Fay Ace, can we get a cheers or a round of applause for our captain? Dude wasn't entitled, but requested to speak to the media only to defend Luke on his tough night. Yeah, that's nice. I didn't see that yet because that was not on TV, or at least it wasn't before Keefe, because I ran on here right after Keefe. So I'll see all the other interviews and stuff when I get off of here, and I did not see it yet. But that's a good move by a captain defending his guy. I like it. Chad Fielder, when they pulled Allen, it was clear Jack was trying to set up Luke multiple times to try and get him something positive to take away. Yeah, I think so. Not to mention, when they're out there, he's constantly getting the puck anyway, so it's not that out of character, but I think they really wanted him to get something to feel good about. Mark, Matty and Chico are getting on the fans for booing Luke Hughes. I guess it's sort of their job, but they have to understand these people pay a lot of money to go to games. Like, and it wasn't just at Luke. While, it may have been triggered when he touched the puck, it's the culmination of a very disappointing season, period, and a very disappointing game, and he was kind of the poster child for it tonight. Backs and racks, Gritch should be used like Stamkos or Ovechkin on the power play. Let him wait on the wing and keep setting him up for one-timers. I like the same approach with Timomeier. he's got that blast as well. I would love to see some sort of configuration where Timo and Grits are both out there just looking to bomb them. I'll eventually watch their post game or listen to it. Mark, damn, this was a chance to get closer to the back of the top of the Metro. Again, bad luck with these goals. I mean, bad luck, but sometimes you make your own luck. And tonight, the Devils did not do themselves any favors whatsoever. John Fay, listen, I understand the booing and the fact it was warranted a little, but booing the man every time he touched the puck on his shift is just not right. Luke makes a few mistakes. They all make that. Yeah, but the fact that they were so glaring and resulted in goals. Again, I said I would not do it. And I do think at some point, once it went into the third period, it definitely, in my opinion, was excessive. But I'm not going to kill people over it. I would not have done it, but it is certainly within their right, and that is part of sports. I'm not going to shed a tear for a dude making more money in 1 year than I will make in my life. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's part of pro sports. It's not always the fairest, but, paying customers have a right to voice their displeasure, and it came in the form of boos tonight directed at Luke. He'll be better for it. Same mistake. 5-star Grits needs to be more involved ASAP. Kid has a bomb. Yeah, I love Grits. I think his physicality is a little underrated. He has great vision, passing. Obviously has a great shot. Brandon says fans booing Luke was the best thing to happen to him. Hopefully it is. Chad Fielder, is there a chance Cotter has been scratched since he's under consideration for a trade as part of or clearing space for Covey? Or do you think it's purely performance related? 100% purely performance related. Maybe on a side note, maybe he could potentially be considered for a trade, but they're certainly not going to hold him out for that. He makes the league minimum, and so him alone is not going to do shit towards freeing up the money for Kovacevic. It would have to be him and someone else, and they're certainly not going to hold him out. He has been kind of the guy to fall on the sword in the past. We've seen him scratched last year. He seems to be a guy that Keefe will, pluck out, and it's happening again. I think it's nothing more than just Keefe looking to spark something up in the bottom six by putting someone else in. That's right, Mark. Win or lose or sick, we booze. Absolutely. Cheers to you. Army, I like Luke, but like most of the team, he keeps making the same dumb mistakes over and lackadaisical play. Fans wouldn't be booing if it hasn't been culminating. 100%. It's just everything's been boiling up, and it came to a head tonight. Richard, I agree with this wholeheartedly. Please put timomeier on power play 1 and not for 30 seconds. Shots manifested themselves when he was out there, when he wasn't shots of zero quality. Timo always seems to get pucks on net. Cotter got scratched for Lamico. Timo should be a fixture on power play 1 forever. I've said that forever. He should be on right wing, power play 1. For whatever reason, it does not seem like it's going to happen. Faye, listen, I hope that's the best thing to happen to him, but it's going to boost his morality and boost him mentally to hone and accept when he F's up, which is what he did tonight during the media. Yeah, he faced the music. Brandon, is there any surprise trades nowadays? There are always rumors like 1 week before it happens we're 100% not involved in a trade. I mean, you never know. There could be one out of nowhere, but it certainly seems like most things do kind of leak before they happen. The 5-star, what do you think about all the no trade clauses Fitz has given out? It's obviously handcuffed him and paralyzed the team. I mean, what more is there to say? I'm not going to kill him over the Dougie Hamilton one. At the time, legitimately, Dougie was the consensus kind of definitely the most coveted unrestricted free agent defenseman. And I think he may have been kind of the most gunned guy, the most sought after guy overall. I don't remember who else was in that free agent class, but it wasn't like packed. And to get a guy like him, sometimes you have to do that. But then I just can't see how you needed to give Palat $6 million a year and trade protection to get him to sign. That seems excessive.
And then literally everyone else and their mother again, you get a no trade and you get a no move and and it's put Fitz in a corner right now where it's already cost us Quinn Hughes, unfortunately, a generational talent. It cost us acquiring him. I do think it has ultimately cost us him ever being a Devil. I would love to be wrong about that and see him sign here as a unrestricted free agent in July of 2027, but I do not think it will happen. But yeah, I mean, the trade protection is excessive, and it's killed the team. Brandon Fitz is trying to build a family and not a winning team with the clauses. I mean, I think you could build a family without giving all the clauses. Like, maybe it keeps guys a little bit on edge. Like, listen, bud, no one's safe. It all comes back to accountability. Is anyone accountable, or is it truly a carefree, no one gives a flying country club? Like, maybe we'll win, maybe we won't. There's always next year. Future's bright. Like, it certainly seems like that. Army, what do you think about giving Lenny a look? 1,000%. 1,000%. There's tons of guys, you could pull out for a game or two and give Haminaho a look. For sure. I don't see why not. It can't do any harm. Rich said, Ace, forget Dougie. Can you sneeze, cough, and hack on Fitz for an interim GM? If I was able to get to him, sure. But he's in witness protection, and there is no feasible way for me to get to that man whatsoever. All right, guys, it's that time. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to start winding down. Follow your boy on X if you're not. Running with NJD, even though it is the most, if not the most, one of the most painful platforms on all of the internet. But follow me on there. Trying to get a little more involved. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick. I'll leave the game stats on here. Throw out thoughts, comments, questions. I like the suggestions. Let me know if you got any suggestions. But I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. Appreciate everyone for coming out. Back in 2 minutes. Going to start winding down. Another frustrating night for us as Devils fans, and I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Oh, the future's so bright. So bright. Oh, and we're back. We are so back. Five-star. Thank you again. Bill is going to re-sign Quinn 100%. Oh, I told everybody that weeks ago. There's no chance Quinn is ever coming to the Devils. Billy G is going to do what winners do. Billy G is total gangster, and he will sell Quinn on Minnesota, the state of hockey, Quinnesota, and he'll be there for probably a while. Brandon, giving no trade clauses has to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Literally doesn't give players any incentive to try. I mean, you'd like to think as professional athletes and competitive human beings, people with a sense of pride and wanting to win, that it wouldn't necessarily mean that and that they would still try. So I can't agree with that wholeheartedly, but it certainly maybe makes people a little too comfortable knowing that, you know what, like even if I suck or struggle, I'm pretty set where I'm at for sure. Carlos, Ace, as of right now, if we could take off the current no trade clause, if we can take off the current no trade clause, who do you think deserves a no trade clause? You have to kind of Explain what that means. I don't know what you mean by that. Faye, I wouldn't mind seeing LeChance, the Shank, Edwards, or even Legari a chance in the big leagues. I've wanted to see LeChance again for a while. He got one game. But I'm down with any of those guys. Edwards, I think, could be either an interesting trade chip or he could be a big part of this defense in a year or two from now, depending on how the other kind of pieces fall. But I would like to see LeChance. Army, appreciate you, Ace. Feel better. Thank you. Thank you. Justin, good night. Crazy Alex, good night. Feel better, Ace. Little lost for words on this team. I feel you, man. Good night, sir. It's been brutal. Mark, do you like the new lines with Brad, Heischer, Hughes, Mercer, Meyer, Grits? Meyer plays center, at least takes a few faceoffs. Jack's going to go back to center when he's closer to 100%. I mean, this is all just kind of experimenting while Jack is not 100% with his hand. So, at this point, I cannot predict what the long-term lines will be. But I do think Jack will definitely be back at center. Brandon, got to get the phone lines going again. So much has happened to the team this year. I need to hear some rants. Very soon. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. Yeah, 19 giveaways is crazy. We weren't able to pop one of those. Richard, Ace, great job. Seriously, take care of yourself later. See you later, Richie. Faye, 22 hits to 16. That's what I like to see. We saw some decently good hits tonight between both sides. Snow Devil, is Quinn going to want to come here in 2027? I suppose he will if he wants to play for an AHL team. Oh, that's long gone. He's not coming here. He's certainly not coming here. It's over. Billy's going to get the prize. Ben jamming exactly, Ace. Everyone is paid and none of them seem to care. It's a job at a minimum and not a culture, not a brotherhood. I can't say for sure. I certainly have my questions surrounding the team. I don't really know for sure. And we may never know. But it certainly seems like there's something kind of broken about this team. Faye says he's 100% staying in Minnesota. I agree. Richard, he will be signed long-term in July of 2026. Snow Devil, I'd like to see more of Crookshank, Leggetti, and Hallinan. Our fourth line is a black hole. Yeah, I'd like to see guys that are going to throw the body and bring energy. I do think Zach McEwen, if he's ever back, who the hell knows what's wrong with him? In the few games that we saw him, I thought he was promising. Big body, decent speed, was getting in on forechecks, flying around, but unfortunately injured 2 separate times. But, we'll see if and when he ever returns. 5-star Jack will be on wing at the Olympics. It makes sense. Yeah, for sure. But that's just as a function of extreme center depth for Team USA. Brandon, there's no more of a chance Jack and Luke leaving than Quinn coming. Or there's more of a chance. I suppose. I don't think it's going to happen for a while, but it's all in the realm of possibility. But I'm pretty sure Quinn is going to be sold on what Billy has done. What Billy has done in Minnesota, what they're continuing to do. And I think he's going to be there. Carlos, apologies. If the team wipes away all current no trade protections for every player, who do you think that deserves that no trade protection right now? Oh, okay. Absolutely nobody. Brettpesce. Brendan Dillon. I think that'd be it. That'd be my entire list. Veterans who chose to come here with families, they would be my only two. Brendan Dillon and Brettpesce would be the only two guys I would give no move clauses to if they wanted them. Oh, and Jake Allen. Jake Allen as well. Vets who, picked to come here at the end of their careers. Everyone else, no. Benjamin says, Angus Crookshank sounds like a serial killer from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. I was all about him. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Is a total killer name. Brandon says, I think it really depends how bad the brothers want to play together. I mean, there's some chance of Quinn coming. There's no chance, man. The dysfunction of the Devils was on full display because the entire situation was teed up on a silver platter for Jim Rutherford and the Canucks that deliver Quinn Hughes to Fitz and the Devils. And he found a way to botch it. If you watched the Quinn Hughes press conference, it tells you everything you need to know. It was very telling. One of the most telling press conferences I've ever seen, quite frankly. And, you know, it stings, but reality's a bitch sometimes. John Fay, the Shank knows how to win and wants to win. So does Legary and Chance and even Howden. They all want to win and know how to win. Yeah, but the reality is this, right? I would like to see all these guys get a shot. Are these going to be needle-moving moves for this club? And the answer is no, unfortunately. Like, there needs to be something big. Do I think these guys can provide a little boost here and there and maybe contribute once in a while? Sure. But is that going to elevate this team from the consistently inconsistent kind of slop mess we've seen for a lot of this season? Take them from there to a consistent team? No, it's not. And so it's, you know, fun to spitball and talk about all these depth moves, but in the end, what are we even talking about? It's not going to make a huge difference overall. Evan says, hey, Ace, feel better. Thanks, man. Snow Devil, Pesce, Nemo, Grits, and Brown. They step up when needed. Who else does? I'd put Brown on there too. Brandon says, Fitz can't even win a deal. He's already won. Fitz finds ways to lose. It's brutal, guys. It's brutal, but that's it. I'm injured out here. Appreciate you all for dealing with my raspy horse voice. John Faison, I'm not saying it's going to elevate the team. I just hope we see them sooner than later to get a chance. No, yeah, for sure. But it's just not something I could get like worked up or excited about because in the end, it's kind of trivial. Vecna Fitzgerald, Tom will forever be the problem. I completely agree. Alberto says Stamkos fixes this team. I don't think he fixes the team. I think he definitely is a shot in the arm to the team, but we don't even have money to bring back Kovacevic. So I cannot live in this world, this fantasy world of making deals for guys like Stammer because it's just never going to happen, unfortunately. I think Haminaho should get a chance for sure. I think that's probably our minor league guy right now with the most upside. Faye, now go chug some cough medicine, Ace. No, I definitely will. All right, guys. This one was absolutely brutal. Brutal night all around. Our beloved New Jersey Devils lose to the Carolina Hurricanes, a.k.a. Daddy, once again by a score of 3-1. Absolutely tragic. And it sucks. It really sucks. I'm down on this team. I'm depressed. I care too much. I know many of you do as well. All we could do as fans is sit back, hope for the best, and wish for brighter days. But the team is off tomorrow, returning to action on Tuesday night on the island at UBS, taking on the Islanders. Hopefully they find a way to win. I don't know. I think this season, I've thought for a while it's in real trouble. And I do fear it could be coming to a really kind of pivotal moment very soon where it could all fall apart. I hope not. But that's it, guys. That's it. I'm shot. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Have a ton of stuff in the works. Appreciate the continued support. I'll be back soon. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.